Exciting Ethanol by Macy Gilman. What is ethanol? A renewable fuel source that is one of the main biofuels. It comes from various plant materials collectively known as biomass. It's part of the alcohol family that is used as a blending agent with gasoline, and it is used to increase octane and cut down carbon monoxide and other smog-causing emissions. How is ethanol cultivated? Most ethanol is made from plant starches and sugars, aka cornstarch. Scientists, after developing technologies to allow for the use of cellulose and hemicellulose, aka non-edible fibrous material that is in the bulk of the plant matter, instead of regular process. The most common method for converting biomass into ethanol is called fermentation. During this process, microorganisms, bacteria, and yeast metabolize plant sugars and produce ethanol. Development status. Ethanol is a widely available biofuel. U.S. fuel ethanol production capacity and annual production have increased over time. Since 2008, the increases are largely because of the fuel blending requirements of the Renewable Fuel Standard Program. Most of the ethanol production is in the Midwest United States. Production and consumption are equally developed as far as consumer use. Carbon footprint. The use of corn ethanol has shown to decrease the carbon footprint and the emission of greenhouse gases. While the production of corn ethanol has increased, quadrupled even, this has had a positive effect on the emission of greenhouse gases or carbon intensity. Studies have shown that during the years of 2005 to 2019, the carbon intensity emitted due to corn ethanol was down 23%. Economic impact. In 2021, the industry directly employed more than 73,000 American workers and supported an additional 220,000 indirect and induced jobs across the economy. The ethanol generated $52.1 billion in gross domestic product and boosted household income by $28.7 billion. Ethanol and feed co-product production provide a valuable market for corn grown in the United States. A typical dry mill ethanol plant adds nearly $2 of additional value, or 55%, to every bushel of corn processed. Communicating about ethanol. In order to get the public the information they need about ethanol use, it needs to be published, and my suggestion, to the online world. So far, there are several networks and resources that have been made for exactly this purpose. The American Coalition for Ethanol, their blog, Ethanol Right Now, is a web blog that updates every week about the current events within the industry and has made it easy for people to get the information in a timely and current manner. The Ethanol Collective provides discussion posts and groups for people to speak freely about ethanol-related issues. There is also an ethanol calculator that people can use in online games as well. The situation and moving forward. In recent years, there was cuts to the ethanol industry that were due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, they are reinstating that the ethanol industry can refine their biofuels like the corn-based ethanol based on new laws that will allow this to happen. Based on the data that I have analyzed and researched, ethanol should be reintroduced to its mandate level of around 14 billion gallons, but this may be hard to reach since it was cut down so dramatically. Moving forward, the ethanol industry should continue in their steps to bring the levels of refining oil up to an increase. This may be difficult since so many of the plants had to be shut down due to the cuts and employees have not been compliant with these new changes. My ideal plan of action. My ideal plan of action, if funding was not an issue, would be to first off reopen/rebuild the ethanol refinery plants that had to be shut down during the cuts that were made due to the pandemic. When these plants were rebuilt, I would increase the mandate level back to its maximum capacity of 15 billion gallons. This would ultimately increase the amount of corn-based ethanol that would be created, which would then be infused into gasoline. This gasoline could then be used by motor vehicles to reduce the amount of emissions that are being released compared to those using non-corn-based ethanol. And these are my citations. Thank you so much.